He looks really good if it hits.
I think they'll definitely try and kill this Drake this turn because they can set up for a quality into Drake of their own.
Right.
To just clear out the board. And to do that, they need to get rid of this Death Rattle. They need to discover exactly what this secret is from Team Switzerland. If it's Redemption, if it's Getaway Kodo, they can plan around that sort of stuff.
If it's Redemption as well, they can...
The big lesson that we have to take away from this, or the big thought experiment at least to take away from this, is the idea of what a safe play is in Hearthstone. Right?
Sure.
Because I remember this way back in the day when I first met you, if we class internet interactions as meeting these days, you were an arena streamer.
Yeah.
And I used to watch you, and many things about you frustrated me, but one of the core things was that you would end games in the on the Pyromancer means now if they can hit a 0-mana spell.
Twice.
No, alright.
They tried.
It wasn't bad. It was a good effort. So to answer your question very quickly, one Purify has become a staple for a lot of people at this point, so that frees up another spot for a minion. A lot of decks have just reached the point where, you know, they realize they were too all in on just silencing things and going face, and quite often more tools to be defensive and find yourself extra turns. More cycle options are quite often the way forward instead. Tar Creepers are cards that aren't 100% standard in the deck as well, so if you're not playing those, that frees up some minion spots for you as well. There's all sorts of possibilities, but instead of talking about the deck list, I think the big story of that matchup was that Greenskin and just how powerful it was. And Greenskin, up until Ungoro, was not a card that was being played in Pirate Warrior. And every time I see it now, it impresses me. It seems like such a strong card in the deck.
Yeah, that's really strange, right? Because it's so obviously... It's one of those cards that a rank 25 player who has access to all of the pirates is going to go, oh, this is obviously really good. And then everybody else just ignores it because they think they're clever.
Well, moving forward, we are going to have Chet Cloud coming up against Viper, the player that you were bigging up at the start of the series. And Chet Cloud actually is going to have to pull double duty today. We haven't quite talked about this yet. You mentioned earlier that having Stan Sifka on your side helping you play Silence Priest would be a big bonus. Unfortunately, the Silence Priest expert himself has not...
Of turns, you're just meaning Ice Barrier buys a turn, Frost Nova buys a turn, Doomsayer buys a turn, Flamestrike buys a turn, and suddenly you've actually got a handful of cards, because currently they haven't got a handful of anything.
Yeah, I mean, an Arcanologist into second Ice Block literally does buy another turn, which is a huge, huge benefit for you here.
Yeah, and the Pirates just don't have that many things, even if they drew a charge.
The first Ice Block isn't even up.
Turn.
What is that other secret in play? We've missed something somewhere along the line here.
That's the mirror entity that they took from the glyph.
Okay.
See, while you were busy knowing what was happening, I was watching the game, just not the hand. Right. But yeah, the Pirates, whilst they are very good at drawing direct damage most turns, they're going to have to do it a lot of turns in a row here without missing once. I wonder. Going to proc on 6.
Hardly the dream scenario here, and this is actually smart. Now that I've actually got my head around which secrets are in play, the fact that the Ice Block came down before the barrier here is actually very nice, because from the perspective that they saw, the Ice Block...
And Antonidas looks like it will stick, and this is that safe you were talking about. It's going to be safe to get Antonidas on the board and buy a load of fireballs and kill the Pirates before the Pirates kill you. That seems pretty safe. Yeah,
the second Heroic Strike, though, does represent the proc this turn.
It does, but it's another proc on 6.
And they can, if they want to, proc on 1 this turn. Oh, sorry, set to 1 this turn, and then proc on the following turn. And that essentially works out as the same thing, except you don't have to rely on drawing additional damage from your deck to make that happen.
There is one Frostbolt left in the deck for Germany, so you can get Frostbolt in the face if you go with that plan.
It's true, but if you proc at 6 this turn, that Frostbolt in the face still ruins your plan at some point in the same way anyway, right? I think this is absolutely correct. It's so rare that you see situations where the hands get thrown up. We're, of course, talking from Czech Republic's point of view, but, of course, the Ice Barrier in this situation means that they have just missed damage with that. They know that Alexstrasza has not been in hand for Germany for the past couple of turns, because defensive Alexstrasza would have come down and just won the game. If they play a minion here, they enable Germany to draw one more card without spending any additional mana, which means the next card can be played. The next card can be played if it's Alexstrasza, so can the card after that. And looking at the deck size, it might be a matter of only 3 or 4 cards remaining in the deck. There is the Alex, though, so the fact that it was exactly that card made the minion play an absolute formality. But Czech Republic must have been extremely high percentage to win this game. And there is that Leroy that they have just been waiting for the whole time. But it wasn't just Leroy. There was Korkrons. There was likely to be Mortal Strikes as well. They had so many...
Knight Reaper.
So many remaining sources of damage.
And that play could have been massively relevant, though. You're exactly right there. If that had been one card deeper, the Alexstrasza, that may have been the difference between losing and winning, just not playing that 2-3 last turn. As it happens, it didn't make the difference, but it was definitely possible.
And the consideration was the same thing on the previous turn as well, where it was a matter of playing the Blood Cell Cultist into the previous Acolyte of Pain, I believe. That was another way that you gave the opponent the ability to cycle, but because there was maybe 4 or 5 extra cards in the deck at that point.
And the 3 represented lethal.
Right,
that
exactly.
was another difference.
The 3 represented lethal, and there were 4 or 5 cards deeper in the deck, meaning that 1 extra card draw was less likely to make as much of an impact. They went ahead and played the minion in that spot. They held back the Raider here because they felt it all but guaranteed the Alexstrasza draw for 0 mana if they went ahead and played it. But now they find themselves in a spot where they're just lacking 2 extra damage on the board this turn.
Wasting a mana. Not putting the courier down.
Alright, that went well.
Would the courier actually have been buffed more often than not if it was played there?
No.
2-2 for 2-drop?
No.
Okay.
It's ever so slightly below that, I believe. It's 1.8, 1.9-ish, something around that. Because a lot of... Since
the options this turn on how big you want the Edwin to be?
I'll take an 8-8. 8-8 seems fine.
An 8-8?
An AA, yeah.
AA.
Yeah, an anti-air Edwin Van Cleef.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to be.
It deals nicely with all these primordial drakes flying in.
Wow. See what he did there?
Saved.
Just about. All right. So actually just going to go with the A8. And
can we all just appreciate the irony for a second of Neil Lawinda Bond making fun of the way I speak?
Sure. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. I'll take my cut back. All right, so doing what they can to challenge this Edwin, and it looks like the Edwin won't go all the way, but the problem is when it just seems beautiful right now.
Goes along very nicely with the 2 4-drops in your hand right now.
Yeah, allows you to. I think you can set up lethal anyway, but allows the lethal setup to be just trivial.
Yes, it gives what basically you as the Druid player in this spot say my rogue opponent needs to draw exactly Auctioneer next turn. They're that far behind. So the Wrath draw there allows you to develop so much power into play that even an Auctioneer draw is just not likely to be able to take care of this board state. Look at a little cheeky grin from Pokervac as he looks over his shoulder.
Viper's going to do that thing that rogue players do.
The old prep concede.
I like to see that sometimes. Not in the middle of a big tournament, but I like when my opponent does it.
Lorinda loves to see that.
I do indeed.
A lot of interesting talking points in that matchup. Right. The Prep Feral Rage was one, for sure. That was a big possibility.
Could have got rid of the J Behemoth rather than getting rid of their Edwin.
Yeah, and kept the health on their Edwin high, which then wouldn't have exposed it to the Wrath. I think the prep usage in general was a big talking point as well. But the main talking point, of course, is the story of the series as a whole. And it's going to go to you, though. That's just unlucky.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey!
Do you hear us now?
There we go. Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your performance over the last few weeks? We believe you've confirmed finished second now in the group, just behind Ukraine. Like, are you happy with that performance? Were you looking to top the group? How do you feel overall?
Yeah, obviously, like, we are happy that we are finished second, which is pretty, like, good finish in a group. It was just, like, about score, because Ukraine, I believe, has 4-1-2. So, yeah. For me, I'm super happy about the finish.
Cool. And going forward, do you feel very confident having come out of probably the toughest group?
Yeah, of course, I'm feeling confident into next stage. I'm super looking forward to another good matches.
Cool.
So I'll ask you about that last matchup very quickly. When you saw the hallucination come down on turn 1, you both gave like a big fist pump. Do you actually feel you're favored against Miracle Rogue, or was that just thank God it's not Quest Rogue?
I was like rather
just out on tiebreakers, not for spring, but for winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was actually, yeah, don't worry.
I was going to say, really? My mind is playing tricks on me then.
No, but for winter, I believe he was just out on tiebreakers. He was one of the 5-2s that didn't quite make it, so just yet another player, from the South America's region, just, really pushing the boat out and really trying to just get there. As they do have the Copa America tournaments, and most of this team has built up a very strong performance in there, along with, I think, Argentina.
A defined archetype. Honestly, George C had a Gunter Mage list that was very nearly Freeze Mage, just with a few changes. There's Secret Mages lists like this one we're seeing now that are very, very nearly Gunter Mage.
Astro has the Gunter Mage list that's got 2 counter spells, 1 block, and a Yogg in it.
Right.
Oh, Legolas is happy. I don't blame him, though. Just gaining either the insta-kill on Medivh or just 7 damage is actually huge.
Look at this counter swing turn as well. Gluttonous Ooze procs the...
Which isn't great. But yeah, Ice Barrier would be fine as well, just because you want the Violence Portal to go off with Atiesh in hand. That's priority. And that's what I was meaning by, that's even a higher priority than playing Ice Block because of where you are in this game. 31 health, you have Alexstrasza. You probably are not going to die. It's going to use Fireball, though. Huh. That just feels bad. Why would you use Fireball?
The only thing I can think is that they're scared of Counterspell and Spellbender, sequencing considerations, but I agree, that seems very, very odd to me as well.
Yeah, it's quite the stretch, just face tanking the answer there, just smacking me on the head with that staff.
Yeah.
Means -1 charge, but now no more secrets, but now Counterspell can be alive again. Definitely needs to get that Violence Portal with that RTS charge now. So there's a 7-drop and a 5-drop and deal 5 damage at the same time. Absolutely huge combination of cards. So now we just have to see Ice Barrier unless there's a cheaper spell and easy one to throw away. Nope. It's just another Violence. It's going to be one beastie Alexstrasza as well.
Yeah, curious on the previous turn, I really can't get my head round the decision-making from Brazil, because the other secret that is in play has been in play for a long, long time, and I'm fairly sure at this point they've ruled out every single possibility apart from Ice Block for that spell.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of only dealing with one piece of concealed information on the secrets. Very strange.
Yeah, feels weird. Especially just because you had that barrier, right? You just had the safe Ice Barrier. You've got a fantastic Violence Portal. And I guess they were just worried about not being able to kill it. Maybe there was a miscount in sort of communication. Someone just mistracking one of the secrets.
That'll do. Alexstrasza getting the buff as well, as if that's going to end up being relevant this game.
Might be.
Yeah.
So that's the nice set of spells you want if you've just Alexed your opponent. But Best of the EU hasn't, so it's a problem now. And the only thing is, I can imagine, double fire.
Yeah, they're going to get the news that I'm pretty sure they had confirmed at this point anyway that it is Ice Block, but many of these lists only play 1 and no way to heal outside of occasional Yoggs and Primordial Glyph silliness, meaning that Pyroblast will probably just be able to end the game on the following turn. There you go.
Didn't even go for the Blizzard to stall out there, and it was an option as well.
Hey, buddy.
Well, is that dog wearing a headband?
I think so, yeah.
Nice, I can get behind that. That's good fashion sense, Mr. or Mrs. Doggo. Not sure which one. But yeah, Legolas taking the win there, and that's kind of one of the reasons I'm not the biggest fan of Secret Mage. If the moment you just get cleaned up once, it's very difficult to push through against a lot of decks, actually. The secrets did sort of mess around with Legolas a little bit, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I've been playing Miracle Rogue for the majority of this of the mid-range about it, and this is where I think it really does start to swing in the Paladin's favor, because you then have the big 1-2 punch that Jade hates to deal with. You have big early game board states, the ability to snowball early on. If that fails, you then have the ability to bail out and actually fight for value through the mid-game with cards like Tarim and Tyrion.
Also, Megasaur is one that is just not very well answered by Druid. You give those Murlocs any buffs, and then Druid's like, problem. Bulgaria does have a reasonable curve here, but getting that Fandral out this early. I mean, there are no cards that predominantly combo with Fandral at the moment, but in a world where Druid can claim more than 1 minion a turn. Both Drake's gone though, good to know. So Sandstorm probably didn't have to even think about that because there's no, multitude of AoE available for Loxodontis here.
I don't think we've seen a single swipe yet though, right?
No, that's true, we've not.
Start with Earthen Scales here, trying to dig through as best as they possibly can, but this is really just a desperation situation for Brazil here. Second Feral Rage can be used to give them an additional turn at best, but now the Wild Growth draw has just come a little too late for them, because there's 5, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21 damage.
And we see the power of this deck actually, just with the Murloc hero power. Like, imagine when the Valfin Inquisitor just goes away from rotation. Like, the deck will just not exist to a large extent.
Likely.
You know what I mean? Because just being able to press hero power and drop a Megasaur, we saw Megasaur actually just went on 2 1/1s there. Wouldn't have been possible, and it would have forced the Megasaur to come down on the Murloc pull from Finger. Which, I think was the correct play anyway. But just the flexibility means that the Megasaurs are never dead in your hand, as you said earlier on. And it was enough. So it's going to even the series up 1-1, Bulgaria versus Brazil. And I've got some more. I think. Let's keep an eye out for that one. But I think it is actually
breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, it shocked me. I was like, what? He's gone for +1/+1?
Well,
whoa.
Guess we play that guy.
Yep.
I guess we get brawled. I guess we cry.
Sounded like I forgot what it's called. It's one of those like short poems that's like 4 lines or something.
Haiku?
Yeah, and like one of those. It's close. A for effort. Okay, that's not too bad. Wow, I love it. Oh, into Hydra.
There's no activator for this Execute in hand either.
He'll draw it.
Will he?
Yep.
Do you believe?
I believe.
In life?
Loxodontis got this.
After love.
It's a good song.
Is it?
Yeah, sometimes you just want to get down to that kind of song.
Trade through without getting damage on the Hydra. But if you play Ali Armorsmith, it's just that plus hero power anyway, and the Hydra can remain undamaged. So it actually doesn't make any difference. So maybe the Bloodhoof and just gaining the 2 extra armor is better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you could go for the 50-50 brawl if you're feeling confident. But I wouldn't be feeling confident if it was me. Also as well, that's only 1 out of 7 for the quest. Not that this matchup is about the quest per se, but still, do need to keep an eye on it. Innovate.
And that's a bad draw.
It's 4-3 though. Definitely a trooper. Survived the brawl.
Has kept on trucking here, but now Ali Armorsmith and Execute can come down and be in a very, very commanding position.
And then Drake
for lots of warriors completing quests. So the quest completion is in hand with the Primordial Drake, as if that had any relevance to this game ending whatsoever.
Savage Raw can help push through a little bit.
So
push through the Pompous Thespian.
Interesting way you pronounce that card, Raven.
Savage.
What kind of accent is that?
Bad one. It's going to be the concede.
Oh, thank God.
Loxodontis raising his hands to the sky. Very, very happy with this. Very emotive players in general coming from Brazil. Whereas Bulgaria taking the loss, but I do believe they, as you mentioned earlier, Bulgaria have qualified into stage 2 because Sweden ended up losing. Sweden was one of the teams that could knock them down, or at least, make this match specifically count.
Right.
But Bulgaria are through, but Brazil taking the win as well. I believe, I'm not 100% on if they're through, but I believe if it very strongly solidifies their position going forward into week 10.
Yeah, we can talk to them very soon and see if they've done the maths, but our understanding and our very quick maths that we readjusted after Sweden lost is that...
Just wait, keep that, we'll get an infinite armor, we'll hit them, we'll complete the quest eventually, so there's nothing we can worry about other than that, you know. So let's just keep that on hand and keep rolling until we win. The time is on our favor, so there's no need to rush on this case. Let's just enjoy our victory step by step.
Yeah, we did like it. We were discussing they were probably thinking of what do they lose to? But it looks like your dog wants to celebrate with you anyway, so we'll let you go. Thanks a lot, Legolas. We'll speak to you soon, no doubt. Congratulations again.
The classic play around Deathwing in Aggro Druid line, of course.
Well, I mean, in all seriousness.